Yo, so guys, and welcome back to a brand new HMS news video, and today we're going to talk about Jack Miller silencing the doubters finally in Jerez, getting Ducati's first win since 2006. Been a long time, obviously, waiting for a win for Ducati. Obviously, Jerez hasn't really been, a strong track for them, but they did manage to get P1 and 2 in the 2021 Grand Prix, obviously heavily aided by the fact that Fabio Quartararo unfortunately got arm pumped throughout the Grand Prix. Obviously, it looked like he was probably going to win that Grand Prix and have 3 on the bounce. He was pulling out a significant lead. He was doing very good laps, and it looked like, he had it all under control, just like he did last year when he won, the back-to-back Jerez Grand Prix. But, unfortunately, obviously, he hit the arm pump, and obviously Jack Miller, pulled back that gap and took the lead, and then Pecco and obviously Quartararo ended up dropping all the way down to, I think it was P14 or something like that, unfortunately. Very difficult Grand Prix for the Frenchman. But as for Jack Miller, obviously first win since that wet Aston GP on that Mark VDS Honda, so that's his first dry win, and like I said, he's finally silenced the doubters. That we're starting to talk about him. Obviously, his start to the season hasn't been fantastic. Qatar, the 2 P9s, they weren't exactly what Ducati were probably expecting, and then Portimao obviously crashing out of the Grand Prix. So very difficult start to the season, not quite to Ducati's expectations. Obviously it was a little bit unfortunate, but he's got his act together now in Jerez, and hopefully from now on, he has that confidence that he can do it. He can fight at the front consistently, and we see him perform a little bit like last year. Obviously we know he has potential, because last year on the Pramac Ducati he was consistently at the front. He was usually the best Ducati rider throughout the season, and was fighting for the podiums. And on this year with the factory support, we know he has speed. Obviously we saw pre-season, and throughout the practice sessions he always seems pretty quick, but in the races it's just not worked out, unfortunately for him. But obviously Jerez, a good start to the European kind of side of things. Obviously Portimao, he did crash out, which is a little bit unfortunate. But obviously going into Le Mans, it's another track which is going to be rather interesting to see how Ducati are going to go. P1, P2 this weekend is pretty good for Ducati, honestly. If for the track being Jerez, not a track with long straights or anything like that, it looks like the bike is working slightly better this year through the corners. That new frame aerodynamic piece looks like it's doing a good job. Obviously P1, P2 in Jerez. It's going to be interesting to see how they go in Le Mans. Make sure you're down in the comments what are your thoughts, and what was your thoughts about Jack Miller's performance. It was pretty good, honestly. Obviously, if Quartararo hadn't got arm pump, he probably wouldn't have won, but he would have had a good solid P2 with a good strong performance. He wasn't that much slower than Quartararo, but he just couldn't quite keep up with the pace and be able to catch up. But it would have been a good performance anyway, and obviously he ended up with the win. And like I said, first win since that wet Grand Prix in the Mark VDS Honda. So it's been a long time waiting, 5 years or so since his last win. But patience is a virtue, and he has finally got it. First win obviously for the factory Ducati team. And it's going to be interesting to see if you can add more to that tally, and hear the Australian anthem a little bit more on board the podium. Obviously we've got Remy Gardner in Moto 2. Also hopefully he can get on the top step and we can hear that anthem a little bit more. But make sure down in the comments what are your thoughts about Jack Miller. How do you think he's going to do in the Le Mans Grand Prix? I think we've got a couple weeks to wait for the French GP, unfortunately. But make sure you're down in the comments, leave a like and subscribe for more content as always, and I'll see you with some brand new videos very soon.